Oh, wait.
A huge shout out to the overthinkers.
An overthinker. He watches the show.
To the overthinkers, shout out Buffet too.
All about faith to this is Parker, yeah. Thank you, overthinkers.
Keep inspiring the next generation.
Shout out to the overthinkers. Thando kuphela. Much love.
To my overthinkers, mamela ubuchopho ngeke buphume buyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siya overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it.
As overthink is overachieve. Hey guys, apparently I am pre-recorded again. Hey, TikTok, come on. Welcome everybody to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is George Mokwena. I am your host, and this is the place where we talk all things local football. It's a really great place to be. So if you're here for the first time, man, follow, like, do everything that you can in order to help this platform grow. Guys, this is a very interactive show. So there's going to come a time when I open it up and then you can jump in and you can add your voice to the show live now by clicking on the multi-guest button at the bottom of your screen. But you have to be following me in order for it to show. If you're watching me on YouTube, you have to follow me live right now while I'm on TikTok so that you can join me. Guys, let's try get to a couple, let's get to 10,000 likes. Apparently my live is pre-recorded. Apparently me speaking to you right now is pre-recorded. So they're trying to restrict me. So just tap the screen. Guys, it's a Monday show. So on Mondays, everybody knows we do a review of what happened over the weekend. We're going to be looking at Mamelodi Sundowns versus Polokwane City, a game that happened yesterday. It was an MTN8 quarter-final game. And Mamelodi Sundowns squeaked through. Polokwane City going through 1-0. Going through a red card and all of that. Now, there's something I'm going to bring back. What I'm bringing back now is that I'm going to play some audio, a minute or two, of the coaches just giving their thoughts about what they saw during the game, just to kick us off. And we can go from there. So we're going to start off with Coach Pitso Mosimane speaking about how he saw the game.
Final of the weekend, we've just seen Mamelodi Sundowns progressing to the semi-finals and overcoming Polokwane City. We're joined by Polokwane City coach Pitso Mosimane. Coach, maybe if you can just start with a summary of the 120 minutes.
Tobela ka moshat ke lebogela go ba gona ga ka mo ke lebellane le banna ba radita. Going into the match, I think we started slowly as Polokwane City graduating into the match, and what sums the match up is I think the chances that we've missed and the chances that they should have scored in the first 15 minutes due to our sloppiness. They missed us, I think, by 3 or 4 goals. Then we graduated into the match. We started to play our normal football of ball rotation, but the only thing that we did on that moment was to not rotate the ball quicker. So that is when they were able to press us on the wrong areas. But going to half-time, 0-0, it was good enough for us. Going into half-time, we made the very same mistake again of sitting back, and they gained the momentum, they gained the confidence. But after that 10 minutes, we started to come up again. It was as if we said go and sit, but we sat back a little bit too deeper. And that frustrated them a bit, coming out with transitions, leading into the red card of the Sundowns keeper. So we should have scored 2 or 3 goals from those transition phases. So I think
I'm going to stop it there. For time's sake before I get punished again by TikTok. Guys, I'm just giving us a little bit of what the coaches said in the start of their press conferences. I'm playing the audio from YouTube. Lawrence Collar. Go to Lawrence Collar's YouTube channel to watch the full thing. So let's hear from Coach Mangoba.
To be honest, I think we had a very good start in the game. Created a lot of chances. I think in the first 30 minutes, probably we had created more than 17 good chances. But unfortunately, when you don't take those chances, you hit the upright twice. I think Peter's header was just short of the direction, but everything else was good. And when you don't score, then you start to panic, you start to develop an element of anxiety. But second half, we kept pushing again. Unfortunately, even there are some moments we could have capitalized on. I think she could have scored. I think Masego could have done something. There are many moments that we created, but not as clear as the first half ones. I think in the extra time we made our life very difficult. But thanks to Dennis for taking one for the team, because I think had he not made that save or that foul, we could be talking a different story now. But I think after the red card, we recollected ourselves. Structurally, we gained control of the game.
Okay.
And fortunately, we managed to get a goal from them. But overall, if there's any element of unhappiness, it would be on the number of chances that we missed, because most of the questions would not be asked if the chances were buried. Thank you.
Okay, that was Coach Mangoba speaking about how his team played. Now, look, we've heard from Coach Puti, we've heard from Coach Mangoba. Basically, the game came down to one goal that came in extra time. Like he said, Mamelodi Sundowns got a red card, and the goal was an on goal. Now, one of the things that even confused me during the game, and I was corrected by my brothers here on the live, what had happened is that you're allowed 5 subs, but you're only allowed to make 5 subs in 3 phases of the 90. So, for example, if you're going to make all 5, it would be 1-2-2 or 1-1-3. So Mamelodi Sundowns had already used 3 phases of subs, even though they still had 2 subs remaining, right? So they couldn't put February on when Onyango got injured up until the extra time period, where they would get a chance again to put in an extra person and also another sub. So I was corrected. The brothers helped me out. So thank you so much. Okay, so onto the game. Look, it's the normal script. I'm gonna start it off, then I'll open up. It's the normal script. Mamelodi Sundowns does this to teams all the time. It's 0-0. They score late. They score 1 goal. They move on. It's not pretty. It's not the best type of football, but they do get the results, right? I think Mamelodi Sundowns played an incredible game in the first half. They still have a build-up problem, but the moment they get into the final third, I think we've seen some incredible final third play from Mamelodi Sundowns, opening up Tashreeq Matthews for 3 chances. Peter Shalulile hit the post twice. There was a lot of things that happened in that first half that were very good for Mamelodi Sundowns. Coming into the second half, you started seeing the same patterns that we've seen before from Mamelodi Sundowns last year with Rulani. And I think maybe one point of worry is the fact that what happens if a team goes into the low block and it's late in the game and it's 0-0 and you need to get a result? What happens? Because what I saw was something that you'd see with Coach Rulani, where the midfielders, as technically gifted as they are, that go into the defensive line, they become strikers that all line up waiting for a through ball to be played by someone. And when you start doing that, you take away from their strengths. So now Tebza has to play the ball, and Tebza doesn't play the ball normally. That's not his job, right? And now you see Mamelodi Sundowns maybe start panicking. They start going wide and crossing balls, but you've already taken Peter Shalulile out. You've already done all of these different things that make it a little bit hard to get that final goal. When it comes to Polokwane City, just shortly before I let in the guests, Polokwane City, I think they have their own, they've shot themselves in the foot. Mamelodi Sundowns' defense was not the strongest defense. They had 2 defenders in Kutsia and Libusa who they'd keep. On the right-hand side, Umuda would go all the way up. On the left-hand side, I think Umashiko would go all the way up, and they'd leave 2 defenders, 2 very slow defenders. They put in Apolis, they put in those guys. They caught out Sundowns a couple of times, including for the red card, but they didn't do it enough to trouble Mamelodi Sundowns that much. Should have gotten a goal through Apolis in those dying moments of the extra time, but they weren't able to take their chances either. So that is where the game ended up. I'm going to open up now, guys, so that we can speak about this. Let me see who's here. Remember, you have to be following me and then click the button at the bottom of your screen that says multi-guest. Click on it. I let you in and we can have a conversation about what we saw on Sunday. Let me see who's here.
Wow.
Oh, Coach. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Hola, my brother.
Unjani, Coach? How are things?
Oh, ngikrenda uthya mukhalakusizi yazi.
Hayi, siyazi coach. Mara uzoma grade coach. Bofuna ukungena ngegame.
Hayi bengibulisa papai.
Okay, coach. Hi. Ulisa udlule coach. Mara, it's very good to see you, coach.
I know angilalele mfethu, ngilalela abanye abantu bakhulu ngegame.
Mara sifuna scouting report yakho coach, but it's okay.
I can maybe later, but let's give them a chance.
Okay, no stress, coach. No stress. Let me go to Gustavo, guys. That is Coach Musmuzi Vilakazi. Actual PSL coach, friend of the show, always comes on. We are very thankful to have Coach on. Oh, okay, hey, my coach. Okay, coach. Coach, former coach of Richards Bay. We'll hear where coach is gonna land, Mara. He's here today, overthinking football FC. Coach Soweto. Thank you, coach. Let me go to Gustavo. Gustavo, welcome to the show. How are you? I'm Gustavo. Gustavo, I'm going to ask you for your general thoughts. What do you think about the game that was played yesterday between Mamelodi Sundowns and Polokwane City?
It was a thrilling game, thrilling first half, thrilling also first half of the extra time. Good game, good game. Not too bad from Polokwane. Not too bad. Even though they didn't capitalize in a way that they should have. Chances. They could have. Yeah, this Mamelodi Sundowns team that I'm seeing now, as a Mamelodi Sundowns fan, also the midfield look open, man. The midfield looked open. I don't know what's happening there. The balance of the midfield, it just looked too open. It's easy to pass through the midfield, you know.
So then what do you make of Mangoba, Paul? What do you think of what Mangoba's doing over there? Do you think there's a future? How do you feel? I know it's early. I know it's early. Mara, how do you feel?
in terms of attacking and going at goal, I like it. But the balls over the top, as much as they can work, they need to be slowed down a bit. Remember, with the direct approach in attacking, it's too predictable, but it's hard for defenders to defend against it because it's just all out in attack. You know, you have the wingers overlapping. You have your attackers. You have your midfielders. Also, there Abu Allen, there Abu Mudiba, which is Mudiba, and I like him there in that midfield. But as much as he can get into the spaces, into the right spaces, he lacks that final pass to kill, you know, to assist. You know, I heard my coach Mangoba shouting to him, saying, "Hey, play it wide, Aubrey, play it diagonal, play it diagonal." You know, Aubrey wasn't doing that. As a midfielder, I don't think he's used to that now. You know, I would have pulled him in that game. I would have pulled Masheo and put Aubrey back to left back actually.
Mara, he created 3 chances, didn't 3 or 4 chances?
Yes, but you're actually taking away from his strengths, basically. Rather him being inverted and creating those chances still than him being in that midfield. At a midfield, at a Tembas one, we have numerous midfielders who can play in that position. At a 10, Neo Mayema should have started that game. At a Mayema there.
So can I ask, how do you feel about getting rid of the 1,000 passes? Yeah, 1,000 passes, slow build up. How do you feel about that change?
It's looking at the chances that we created in that first half. I'm actually sort of. It's okay, man. It's nothing too bad. It's nothing too good. It's just normal. you know, because the chances we created, we're going at the Polokwane seats, especially in that first half. We're going at them straight up. We go at them, getting chances, hit the post twice in that first half. We had a point up by Ribeiro, also could have scored maybe twice, 2 chances also. We had Terence Mashiro, who's really playing good, overlapping, getting in behind the defenders. That's what he's good at, actually. You know, it's good. Get rid of those 1,000 passes, create more chances. If you're not creating chances, that means we're not scoring. You know, we can keep possession all we want.
Okay, I'm gonna come back. Let me bring you to Agent. Agent, my brother, welcome to the show.
Can you go to Kuma for a second? I want to check something quickly. Sorry.
Okay, let me go to Kuma. Kuma. Okay, no stress. Kuma, welcome to the show. How are you? Yeah, but now people sleeping. What's going on? Kuma? Okay. Let me see. Yeah, but Navari public. Agent, are you back with me?
Right. Yeah, no, I think I'm fine.
How are you, my brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. We've got a coach. He's going to critique your words.
I have to be careful, eh? No, man, but I'm happy that coach looks happy, sounds happy. I hope he's happy. You know, things happen, and if it's not meant to be, it will not be. You know, but one thing for sure, I know, second half of the season, some people are gonna call him, and he should answer. But it's okay. Oh, I wanted to start with this interesting stat. That did you know that? You know, 1 in 5 South Africans suffer from amnesia. Did you know that? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us, one of us is suffering from amnesia.
What amnesia? What's happening?
I wanted to help. A loss of memory or partial loss of memory. Sometimes you forget these things, you know. I wanted to say that if you recall well, last season first game was against Kaizer Chiefs. We won 1-0. 1-0. And we benefited. Chiefs should have won that game, you know, they should have scored. And I think we got a penalty or something, a penalty, something of that sort.
Emma Pele.
I benefited and I have no shame.
Yeah, you know, and I wanted to say with respect to Sundowns again, that of all the games that we played last season, 17 of those games, out of the 52 plus that we played, 17 of those games ended in a 1-0 difference score. 1-0 difference score. And we had like 14 draws, and of those, 7 were 0-0 draws. So the narrative that somehow we struggle to score, or that's not the Sundowns that we know, is factually incorrect, you know. And if you look at the last game between Polokwane City and Sundowns, we drew 1-0 with them, you know. Yes, granted it was away, but still it was still Sundowns, you know.
Yeah.
Shots on target just after the 90. I'm not including after 90. We had 3 shots on target yesterday, and it was 2 last season. 10 shots last season, we had 16 this season. We had 79% of the ball last season, and we had 72 at halftime this season, you know. So 7 corners last season, 9 corners this season. So there is similarities, but yes, there's less possession. But again, you have to look at where was the possession last season. It was mostly in our half. This time around, we have possession in the opposition's half. And because we have possession in the opposition half, it is more likely to be intercepted than it was last season. You know, and again, we play quicker than we did last season in the opposition half, which means there's a high risk of losing the ball again. You know, but that means that we are more direct and we create more chances than we did last season, you know. And last season, again, we scored a lot of goals, just that I wanted to check how many goals we scored in the 80 plus minutes, you know. So, yeah, I think we played well. I don't think we should overreact. You
Yeah.
know, it was a normal game. We start slow, and actually, I don't know how many times we won MTN 8 in the last 10 seasons. You know, we won it.
Come on,
under
Ngoba.
2022, Kamangoba with Coach Rulani. Before then, it was a dry period, you know, because it was Pirates, Supersport, Cape Town Cities, Supersport Vets. Even when we won the Star, we didn't win MTN 8. Why?
Yeah.
Because we start slow. So I don't get the overreaction, to be honest with you. So I just wanted to say that. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I'll come back. Let me go to Prastomi. Prastomi, welcome to the show. How are you, Prastomi?
Hello, Tisha Brother.
I'm a Nimnandi Prastomi. Prastomi is better no coach today.
Oh, but agent.
Ah, nangu coach Musmusi. Coach Vilakazi. Coach Kado. Ukhona.
Agent uyapage apha uphethe incwadi diary.
Prastomi, what is that again?
Hey, team, now what I can say is that Sundowns, the first half, it was playing, and I'm not surprised. Even under Rulani, Sundowns had always had a first half a grand attacking, is trying to score. So the mindset of if City were attacking more, as if we can, we used to do that. But the fact is, all last season games, the first half we were playing grandly. Come second half, you find that the team is struggling, and it was more worse when the team was leading. So what makes it very hard for us is that we're playing with a team that is playing on a very low block, if you can check. And again, their assignment was very clear. Coach Baruputu Lomfo had to stick to the plan he used last season.
Okay.
Stay behind the ball, try to defend. And what I like about the Polokwane City is that there's something that I like up front. He plays fine about Chauke. And his mistake of captain Una Coach Mangob is that mostly he played a defensive line that is very slow. And the only time we had the pace, it was on the side of Umudau and what you call Mashekh. But when you check between Ulebusa and Ukutse, those players are too slow. Then you add up Onyango, that led to Benala red card. Because you can see Polokwane City was trying to play behind us, and our defense is very slow, and the goalkeeper will take time to reach to the ball. So that was a game play in ABC Genzi. So, and what I noticed quick game is that something was off and that I don't understand. Position abedlala kuye Matthews. And that position had to make things very hard for Matthews. That is why he was not comfortable to play on that place. And I decided not to start with Tambazwan, which is a great thing as a coach, because you need to take a risk and try to come up in the of playing as a team.
Okay.
When you're out Tambazwan, what can you bring to the team? Otherwise, I can see Uribera was playing a very good game, and I can see Walende needs to the ball. And again, one thing that I like to Sanders can fix, I'll always be a very honest person on my side. I think Lendaga Cruz Modao as a right back, grand. But one thing they need to understand, Ukuluso Modao cannot cross the ball. It's been seasons, Sibukela alone. And then I become so worried because mostly more box entries. But then because box entries, over the defender, of which is something new to the team. I don't know, is a smack happy, but again, there's a long way to go and to learn. And team Safnega improve. And I will give Coach Mangoba a chance as a coach, just like any coach, we give them a chance. But we need to understand that there's certain things we need to improve in the team, and it's still early to determine why it Now there's a mindset that comes out, and the narrative is totally wrong. Because Sundowns played a draw with Polokwane City, then won the game on their own goal. Already, it has determined the league may be up this season. That Sundowns it will struggle. But when you go down, play point limited of agent, Abandu does not consider what happened last season. In the game we were playing with Polokwane City, and the coach it was put, and we played 0-0 draw. So at some point, they need to equip themselves with the information before we analysis a team will struggle this year because as much as I see there's a lot of improvement, and I like to improve the team more going forward. And Umangoba needs our support behind. But when the things are not going well, we will criticize them. Just like we're doing Kushulan, of which is a game of Polokwane City. It was a very, very hard game. Very hard. It wasn't easy to break a low block, of which is it is what we struggled last season. And they need to understand on, because eventually it looked like it was gonna be easy when Ismanova also break at that line. It's proven Polokwane City, but it's not easy to play a team that plays a low block. That's it.
Okay. I want to go to Coach Kano. I want to ask you, as someone joined the team in the middle of the season, and you try to change a footballer team, how hard is it to change, especially when you haven't had that much time? Because I see Umangoba maybe ufuna change like the way that they play and go faster, mara maybe basaphetho i-chameleon. I don't know if coach is still with me. Okay, we'll come back to you, coach. We'll come back. Gustavo, tell me, Gustavo, how much of this is growing pains? That Umangoba, we're seeing him for the first time in a competitive game. Coach Mangoba, we're seeing him in the first time in a competitive game with this team. He's trying to change the way that they play. Can we expect it to be hard for him, knowing that Rulani was playing a completely different football?
Yeah, it's going to be a hard transition. It's going to be a hard transition as fans. We have journalists. Everyone is watching, Everyone is watching. It's either now we are trying to keep it at the same level that Rulani was keeping it at, or we drop or we go high. So there are those expectations. Some they are hoping it goes down, it goes bad for Coach Mangob, or it goes up. As fans, we want it to go up. We want to support him. As a coach, we want to support him. We don't want to be negative. We want to support him as a coach, and we want to see our team winning.
Yeah.
So there are those expectations.
So then will the fans, how patient will the fans be? Because I'm already seeing in the comments, people are saying they miss Rulani. I heard you speaking about a little bit of control of the team. Are fans going to be patient with Coach Mangoba? And what's the line? Where do you say, man, I don't want him anymore, or whatever?
So, yeah, there is that. Okay, we want to control games. Remember, with the team, Coach Rulani, we hardly considered. We kept more position. The more we keep the ball, the more we frustrate the opponent. And we look for that opening to score a goal. And since we have the ball most of the game, we are rotating the ball around. Us getting attacked, maybe it will happen twice or three times. It's rare for it to happen. So with Coach Mangoba's ball, we are more attacking. And the more you attack, the more you get attacked. You see, like you mentioned that we have two defenders left there at the back with Motaung and Mashiho, they are going up. Alende is going up, Mudiwa is going up. That's also there in the middle, but also slightly goes up front. Look at the chances that Polokwane had yesterday. Chauke was a menace, was getting constantly behind the back, the way, how easy it was for Alexandra Cole to recover the ball. Last season, you couldn't do that. By the time you're trying to recover the ball, everyone's there. There's that thing. There's that thing. The more you attack, the more you'll get attacked. So if Coach Mangoba this season would say, okay, as fans, looking at the chances that we created yesterday, easily we could have scored 4 to 5 chances yesterday in that first half alone. could have scored 4 to 5 chances in that first half alone. If we convert that and we look at the chances that Polokwane got in the first half, they got like 2 to 3 chances. If they score that, we are still ahead. We are still ahead. We are in control of the game. We are winning the game.
So then tell me, Gustavo, how much of an effect will I think Mangoba's going back to simple football? Kutsia is no longer a defensive midfielder who's also a centre back. Mudiba's a midfielder, is no longer a left back who's going to be a midfielder. There's so many things around the pitch where players are now playing different roles. How do you feel about that? Because maybe that will maybe affect the players and also you as fans, man.
It won't necessarily affect the players. These players, what I like about the Sundowns players, they are very adaptive. They are key to learning. They want to learn. They are players who are willing to learn. They are players who are willing to take in instructions.
Yeah.
They are players who are willing to take in instructions. And mostly now we are players who are willing to take in instructions.
Yay, Patrick.
We are playing more towards the strengths of our attacking players. That's what we are doing now. We look at your Tasharik Matthews, we are using his greatest strengths now.
Yeah.
You have the thing is what we lack is a number 10 in the type of football. I don't like having Mudiba there. We need a number 10. We need a number 10 to give us more control in that attacking third, to give us more control, certain passes there in those spaces, to lower the amount of workload that Ribeiro does. If you look at the work Ribeiro was doing yesterday, he was going more deep to collect the ball, driving with the ball, linking up play, playing that 1-2. He hardly plays the 1-2 deep in that midfield. He's usually playing it from the wing or from the edge of the box. He's playing that 1-2 there, looking to get in behind. So as fans, the patience is there. As long as we're winning, the patience is there. We don't fight the coach.
Okay.
We would like to be as dominant as we've been. We'd like to be as dominant as we have been. And looking at what we have up against us going into Ilontuzan, the semi-finals.
Yeah.
We need to attack. We need to attack Stellenbosch. We need to attack Stellenbosch and convert those chances. The more we convert those chances, the more fans are happy.
Okay.
It's about just converting those chances.
Let me go to Agent. Agent, how much of this is teething? That you're changing a system, you're going from a chameleon to a different. How much can we give the result of yesterday to that?
They call it the crocodile football, eh? We'll see how that develops. But like I said, the first thing is the reason I was giving the stats is to show that actually we are more or less the same team. Like Sundowns, we've seen various variations of this piano infusion that we play. You can go to Johannes skins, you go to Pitso. People forget that we didn't have that much position under Pitso. And even the famed Diamond scored a lot but conceded a lot. So there's always that trade-off between keeping as much possession and also playing fast football and losing it. But that doesn't mean you're not necessarily keeping possession. We are still keeping possession, and also there's a trade-off between inviting pressure to your half so that you can play those balls that Williams like and calling players to Williams and a high line. There's always going to be that trade-off, but the principles for me are still the same. So Sundowns, the first game that we saw of Mangoba, like I said, it's not as bad as people describe it. It's not even bad. It was Sundowns kind of performance from last season, So I don't see any major glaring problems. Yes, I still question partnering Grant and I mean Libuisa and Kotse because they're very slow and when having a hairline you're going to be caught out. But still, generally, even Umudiba I think played well as one of my man of the matches, and like I said on the group that I would rather have Omodau and Kotse and Libuisa if I had to have a three there in the middle of the park, because either way he won't cross the ball. So for me, I still feel like it's still more or less the same, like I said, even the scoreline is more or less the same. Everything is more or less the same. Like I said, it's just that right now we are a disorganized fan base right now.
Okay.
And yes, the sounds of people of the fans, they only sing the song. It has been 7 years singing the song that this is our season, reclaiming the glory days. You're taking the league. It's a usual noise that we hear every season. Just that this season, it looks like it is some are disgruntled fan base and we're a divided fan base. So the pressure's gotta come there for how many are disgruntled, how many are for Rulani or for Mangoba. And for me, I've always held the position that I support Sundowns. I don't care what the coach does. Even if Mangoba should go out tomorrow, I won't even follow him. I follow Sundowns. So I think the problem that we're seeing right now, and even the comments, is pro Rulani, pro Mangoba, pro this, and for me, is what is worrying me the most. That are we gonna put Mangoba under so much pressure, especially the ones that support Rulani, and people have to be consistent that Mangoba is not gonna go 29 games and beaten streak in the league. That was a freak season. It happens once in a lifetime. So it's gonna be interesting what happens if we drew and won the game and there's still this much disgruntlement. What is gonna happen if we lose 2-3 games in the league, for example? So I don't know.
But then I wanna ask you back to the team itself. What impact will it have going back to traditional positions? I mean, yesterday we didn't see Kutzea going into midfield or dictating. Yes, it might be because Williams is not there and Onyango's the one, but how much will that affect how the game is played? That Aubrey is no longer inverting and doing all of those, fancy things. Will that affect anything in the team?
No, I don't think so. In my opinion, I think it's still gonna be the same old people. Like I said, Umudiba, we know that when you play him left back against the pace winner, you're gonna have trouble. And we always said that when you invert him, he looks better. It would be interesting if you get AB back and he plays a centre back. Are we gonna see a different AB? So I feel like the players are going to be are gonna be themselves. They're gonna maybe play a bit better, but I don't see they played bad under the combined roles. I still feel like they played well. That's why Sundowns is a quality team. So if you can do well under a combined role, I'm sure you can do better, if anything, the same as when you're doing a single role. So I don't see any effect. Like I said, this is the Sundowns that I know personally. I don't know about others, but yeah, this is the Sundowns that I know. Thanks.
Prastomi, Coach Mangoba has come out and said that he's changing things. They're going to be a bit quicker. They're going to try get players into positions of attack. Do you think that the team is still, learning? Lentefuna Mangoba?
Yeah, yes, Oti, what I can say is that I've seen Umangoba is trying to change the team so that he cannot label as someone who's playing and again, I become so worried because one thing I can tell you, and I need to be honest on my side, Sundowns will lose ±4 games this season.
Okay.
With league.
Overall?
Yeah, overall, ±4 is a loser in the game. The reason why I'm saying this, when you check this thing, Ngoku, uyothatha uKhoza wamenza as a centre back straight. Not that converted centre back that was always adjoining in the middle. Funeka ujonge ke ba ibisebenza in what way. When the team esidlala naye inebhola okanye is igqibo khawula ibhola kuthi, we always have someone to cover or centre back or join with midfield. Every time ibhola bisoke Sundowns. And on that thing, ubufumaniseka ba teams that are playing Sundowns, Rulani was limiting the chance of creating chances playing against us. Now, it doesn't kwenzeka ngoku. Sifuna udlala le 4-3-3 and the 4-3-3 in a straight direction to the team so that you want to play straight to the team odlala naye, but in a more risk because I've seen so many mistakes bezisenzeka koModiba ibhola iqhawuka. As a result, when you can see the players as far about Chauke, it was so easy for them to play because at the back, we players that are very slow center backs. Now, when those center backs were too slow, when you check formation, there's always there in the middle to break those lines. That is why it was not easy to go forward and break Sundowns because they always use, they must not have much time on the ball.
Yeah.
So we find something else that is different. Siboni team can have a ball and play with Sundowns and get what it can say. If this team they can defend like what you call Polokwane City, then at times chances in there and punish the Sundowns. You tell us what's gonna happen. And I've seen Umanqoba in that game. He saw a game, it goals were not coming because he predicted about in the first half we have chances, and we created chances as needs, but Congress is perish. Now check on that game, the ball sense substitution bezininzi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it says when it was Rulani Band, they were saying once we make the changes that are as needs, but we are panic. So my question is, when it's aka panic now. So
Yes,
those are questions we need to ask ourselves.
That's what I want to ask. But also, Prastomi, isn't this what we spoke about last season? Is there much change, as Agent is saying? Because we also spoke, if you can transition on Sundowns a certain way. We used to say target AB, target Libusa, target Kimang Mvala at times. Isn't this the same problems that we saw from last time? And to go to Lento Kulumile now, you go to late in games. I saw pretty much the same end of the game as what Rulani used to do last season. Is it really that much change?
It's not that it's really changed, but I'll be lying to say that there's too much that changed. But again, one thing I can tell you is that when you can play two center backs that are too slow, each team is very easy to point out but it's not, there's a weak point we center backs that are playing too slow. And when you check involvement ka goalkeeper way to Sanyango, you can compare to Williams. How is it? So there's a drop involvement of the goalkeeper because I think Coach Mangoba believes that it is too much risky to have a goalkeeper involved on the game. But with the understanding that we have, Tina, but when you have a goalkeeper that is involved, when you a player you add to the team in the field because you cannot have a goalkeeper who's on the break, every time we link the ball. Now we have to send the keeper in the game. So I'm not saying Bagoki changes that are two more, but what I'm saying is that Shabona Gota, according to Bonaka change. But again, I think it was so early to make those changes so early. As Bonakalisba, he wants to change it. So because now I believe when you want to play, you introduce that slow by slow. How you would go to it because it was too risky. Imagine if we lose the game, what would we say about it? Panic. So we need to, you stick to that plan that it's seven stage still, but you cannot risk come and change the team within the
completely.
Season. Yeah.
Okay. Let me go to Patrick. Patrick, welcome to the show. How are you?
I think Coach wanted to say something.
Oh, Coach?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Hey, I'm running out of battery. That's why I've been saying bumping codes.
Oh, no stress, Coach. No stress. Marukren, no. All right, man.
Let me just have this comment, Jay. I won't even take more than 4 minutes.
No problem.
And be out, yes. I think Mhlambe just to do the analysis of what is happening right now with Coach Mngqithi and what happened Mhlambe with Coach Rulani. I think the quality of the team is still there. And that we cannot take away. But I believe that maybe with Coach Rulani, there was more of patience, especially even in the last state. Even if there was not much of penetrations, let me not say penetrations, forceful penetrations. But all the time you will find they will have beautiful combination and end up scoring and being clinical in front of goals. The only difference now is that I know Umanqoba, he coached me, I've worked with Umanqoba, so I know what he likes to play constructive football in terms of knowing what he wants at that particular time, playing with a purpose, if I may say so. So that is why even in his statement before this game. He did mention that he wants a team that will play with speed, high tempo, and trying to create more scoring opportunities. And I think if we can be fair enough as about Tandibe Bola South Africa, we did see that element happening, but the only problem was that they were not clinical in front of goals. So our penetrations, we can count. There was too many penetrations.
Yeah.
They've hit the bar maybe 2 times or so. So what he wants to see happening in the team is just that it's a pity that some other things cannot be rectified overnight.
Yeah.
But I also maybe concur or believe Uguti. Just give him some time. We will definitely see what he's trying to do. It's not going to be a different Mamelodi Sundowns. It is still the Sundowns that we know that has the quality and stuff. But the difference is that he wants to have more penetrations, because in football we know very well that what determines a win and a lose is scoring goals. So if you score goals, then you will find yourself being victorious at the end of the day. But the Mangoba that I know, I think let people have a bit of a patience, but they will definitely see what he's trying to do. Not taking away what Rulani did, because when it comes to the identification or the philosophy of people, it's not the same. But at least they are lucky because they still have the quality that is needed, the quality that is capable of making sure with the Sundowns still stays on top in terms of making sure they are victorious in most games abazowadlala. So thank you so much. Angibaleke bangagang attack because I know they will come at me.
Coach, before you go, Coach Kalukubuza, just one thing. How hard is it to change the style of play of a team, especially when you don't have time? For example, Maufik Alaperi Bay, you wanted to play different football. How hard is it to change Manama player to start to play your football? And then do you find moments where they go back to the way they used to play, man?
It's not easy, Autam. It's not easy. But I wouldn't like to make an example in a situation here at Richards Bay, because considering the fact that the team was trying to survive a relegation, so you are now forced into a certain way of playing because you want to generate results ngaleso sikhathi. But obviously there are things engizifakile that I wanted to see. But if you can ask about my philosophy, that was not the best team or Richards Bay that I wanted. But maybe if I had a chance of going for a preseason where I will try by all means to come with the identification or the philosophy and make sure that players buy into the idea. And remember, this thing, Yama philosophy and identification comes with the quality that you have or the personnel that you have. So I cannot ask for a certain style of play knowing very well that personnel, I don't have that thing. If I want to start from the back, but you look at my team and you see that he doesn't have people who are capable of starting from the back. So I will compromise that and then try to play on my second ball, play from a second ball in trying to make sure I get what I want. So it's not easy, but with Umangoba, I don't think it will take him that much of his card out. You must be honest, because this is the same team that was there. I'm assigning in some, they will have 1 or 2 new signings or 3, but the core of the team is still there, and they also understand the way Umangoba operates. He was the head coach before, so it's not something new. So you will just try with him align towards what he wants to achieve, objectives. Playing a constructive football is not bad. Everyone wants to play that because we are playing with a purpose. With Matota, why are we playing like this? It is because we want to achieve something out of it. But it comes with Lona as well. I spend my patience, because sometimes when you are haphazard and then you find yourself ungabi clinical in front of goals. So that patience that Rulani had. So I think a mixture of that patience when it's necessary, because players need to understand why do we keep people position, why do we have the patience. It is because we are waiting for the right moment, and the right moment occurs. Then we need to utilize our spaces for that particular time and be able to create our scoring opportunities and try to convert them into goals. So the mixture of that Rulani and the mixture of Mangoba, I think that will take out the best out of Mamelodi Sundowns.
Okay, no. Coach, it's okay. Coach. Thank you, coach. Guys, that was with Coach Kano, former coach of Richards Bay. Just coming in, man, to come and tell us a little bit about how he saw the game. Let me go to Patrick. Patrick, welcome to the show. I don't know how you follow Coach Patrick. I get the
Yeah, no, nakina Sundowns fan, my brother. I'm supporting Sundowns. I've been supporting Sundowns since the early age. I can't remember the time Yabu Zain Musa, Iwi Kambule. So what's that again, my brother? Nakana comment fan. I won't be long. Nkare in short, well done, boys. They played very well. I was watching a game. They played very well. Unfortunately, we were so unlucky, especially first half. They played very well. Somewhere, our third final. I can say, man, Barkeman at this point, Barkeman Tasrim.
Oh, Matthews. Matthews,
Tasrim. Yeah, some man, I get to Olega a confident or young, but otherwise there was a combination, there was a commitment, there was a like the very same energy rulani, Naki woni. They played very well. Unfortunately, they were so unlucky. So I can say, man, Okari, some of the people they are rushing this team. Or maybe Baba against the Rulani, I can say. But so far, I saw the energy, I saw commitment, I saw Sundowns, never the very same pattern, yes, a pattern energy, football style Sundowns.
Yeah,
I'm happy. And I'm saying to Sundowns fans, those who love Sundowns, those who support Sundowns, let's be patient. Let's support this team, including our coach. We must not rush them. Please, guys, I'm begging you guys. I support Sundowns. I can a member catship. I support the Vela. So let's be patient. It is too early to judge, guys. And I'm not going to allow any yeah, you know what, my brother, this manova, I see manova Gehan Alukwa, whatever over the way manova, once one. He knows very well this team it was a guy, once one. So people must be patient. If you don't score, your opponent will gain confident.
Okay.
So, area kora ka first half, Polokwane City, again confident, rather under pressure. Unfortunately, our goalkeeper atona the card. It happens. It happens. So, that way we need extra time. Yes, game on Mara. So far, I'm happy. First half, we should have wrapped up the game. Unfortunately, Asanka Bashim said their chances. Mara, now I like the energy, commitment, combination. I'm happy. Sundowns, I can say to Estelis, next game, Reshapa heavy score. Mark my weight.
Mara naki bata before I go to bata only membership card. Do you have the funeral the funeral plan?
Yeah, I do have, my brother.
Oh, okay, I know.
My brother.
Thank you, Patrick. Stay on. I'm gonna come back. Let me go to welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you, Uti. How's it?
I'm okay. What are your general thoughts about the game from yesterday, quickly? And then, secondly, how much of this is just teething, man? That, it's a new football he's trying to put in. It's not going to look pretty day one. It might even look like what it looked like before. How do you feel about that?
Okay. I remember there was this other time where we spoke about Umangoba when he started with Sundowns, or when he was appointed as a Sundowns coach. and I said, Umangoba seemed to be the guy that was very comfortable in his previous role.
Yeah.
Mangoba is a senior coach, if we're being honest. He's coached a team before, but for the longest time, we've known him now as an assistant to Pitso and recently an assistant to Rulani. And I had a problem with that because when you are sitting there, you know that accountability sometimes goes to the head coach. You know, the fire doesn't go really that much to you as an assistant. So I've always said that I'm scared for him. I'm really scared for him because here's my issue. The problem with taking over from a successful coach is that the fans expect you to at least pick up from where that coach left off.
Okay.
So it's worse when you were an assistant there before. It's worse when you were there before. Because the expectations are very high. It's like you understand the program. Why are we losing games now? And I'm not saying that Sundowns is going to lose any more games. I'm simply putting this out there because I know that this is going to be an issue, especially replacing a person that was successful.
But can I ask you something? Can I ask you something from the outside looking in to Sundowns? Do you think that the fans believe in Mangoba? Do you think that he is what fans would say was the first choice type of replacement, if I can say it like that? Do you think that they view him that way?
I doubt if they do, but I know Sundowns fans don't want to admit this fact. I doubt if they do, because remember, Rulani had already proven himself several seasons that he's capable of coaching Mamelodi Sundowns and winning trophies. You get what I'm trying to say? So I doubt if they do. It's just that most of them wish him well. You know, if a guy has been in your roster or in your team already as an assistant and sometimes as a co-coach, you feel like, you know what, he needs to be given an opportunity to coach. But hence I'm saying to you, I'm scared for him for one reason only. The fact that Rulani was so successful in doing his job. Now the expectation is that Mangoba needs to do the same thing as well. And you know what's the thing? When I was watching that game, I was like, you know, when you listen to Rulani and the relationship that he had.
Guys, can we just mute? Guys, can we just mute? Can we just mute? There we go.
Yes. So I wanted to point out the fact that when you were following Rulani and the methods that he used in terms of, you know, making sure that he gains the confidence of the players, you see that he was having good relationships with the players. He would even tell you that he spent time with the kids of so with some of the senior players at Mamelodi Sundowns. You tell that he would want to assist and make sure that if a player is struggling somewhere, whether it's a personal issue or whatever, he would want to know because he need the best of that player in the field. Now, I'm asking myself if Coach Mangoba is that kind of a man, the Jose Mourinho, because you know that thing used to be done by Jose Mourinho because he would want to know how's the family and so forth and so on. And then that helps players because players tend to play for you when they get on that field. They want to put in 120% because they know that you are a very supportive coach and you make sure that you are there for them. So it's a lot of things because now you come with your own understanding of football, and you might have a different philosophy. Yes, Sundowns has, you know, this identity of football that they play. But remember, as a coach, like Uvusumuzi, the coach said, you come with your own philosophy because there's things that you want to implement as a coach as well. Because you are your own person. You get what I'm trying to say? That is why when I watched the game, I was like, I wonder if these players of Mamelodi Sundowns, all of them are buying into this new identity that comes with Coach Mangoba.
For time's sake, I'm gonna bring in Vuyo. Vuyo, welcome to the show. How are you? Let me just see if I can help Vuyo unmute there.
But how many trophies, guys? How many trophies?
I'm coming, Patrick. I'm coming. Don't worry, I'm coming.
No. I don't agree with him. How many trophies? How many trophies, my brother?
No, Patrick, I'm coming. Don't worry. Don't worry, I'm gonna come back. No,
ask the guy, how many trophies did you deliver to Sundowns?
You'll be able to ask him. Don't worry. Guys, let's not be unruly. We know the rules of the show, guys. Please, please, please. I'm gonna come back and we'll have the conversation proper. Let me go to Vuyo. Vuyo, welcome to the show. How are you?
How are you, my brother?
I'm good. Vuyo, what are your general thoughts about the game yesterday, very briefly? And then secondly, are we just seeing, man, it's the first game. I mean, if Mangoba's really trying to change the style of play, surely it's not going to look pretty from day one.
That's true, OT. I agree with you. There is no coach in the world who just take a team for the first time and then everything run the way afunanga corner. No, it doesn't go like that. And remember, the other team, let's not disrespect the PSL, first of all. Because Polokwane City is just not a working team. Even last season, if you can check, did Sundowns get 6 points? The answer is no.
Yeah.
So why imagine it is a big issue when Mangoba draw? We draw with our best coach in the world. We draw. So what's wrong now? And we are top of the form. You understand Sundowns very well as much as you support. Let me tell you something, OT, about football. The coaches are not the same. They are also human beings. You need to leave a space of someone who will think something else is going to work. And I always give someone a chance in my life. Let's just give this person a chance. As much as we give the co-coaches a chance when Coach Pitso resigned. So now is the time to stick together and support Coach Rulani. Football, sometimes you can miss 20 chances losing a game that you deserve to win. That's football.
But can I ask you something,
let's not
Vuyo?
just talk, G.
Can I ask you something, Vuyo? And I'll give everybody a chance to answer this question as well. How much does the demotion the first time round play into how people view Mangoba? Because he was, they were co-coaches, but he was the final say. He got demoted, quote unquote, and Rulani got given the head coaching job. Now they've gone back. Can that affect the team? Can that affect the fans? Can that affect the club? And does that maybe also have a weight on how long Coach Mangoba will be given, if that makes sense?
No, it won't affect the team because it's the same players, it's the same system. Even yesterday, they packed the pass, but Sundowns, they have the ball position as usual. It's just that we didn't convert our chances. It won't affect the team because the same players are still on the contract. The same players, they want to play for the team. So I don't think it's going to affect. And the coaches, they are not going to be the same. As the Richard Spale coach, he just got off here. He said a very, very truthful usho amagama like ayiqiniso ukuthi angeke like izinto zenzeke from day one. They will jail. There's still a lot of games, and even yesterday they were going back to the drawing board and see ukuthi bangenzani to upgrade the standard of Sundowns. And it's not the end of the world. And team draw OT, so it's not the first.
Look, I don't think they played badly. I'm going to go to Gustavo just now. I don't think they played badly, to be 100% honest with you. I think they played an okay game. I think they played a game that looked exactly like Mamelodi Sundowns of old. I mean, towards the end of Rulani's run last season, I don't remember him outside of Chiefs, beating Chiefs 5-1. I don't remember him, scoring a ton of goals. It was on goals. It was defenses breaking. It was pressure breaking teams. It's normal. I want to go to Gustavo. Gustavo, I've got two questions for you. Number one, the first question is, how much of that demotion of Coach Mangoba, does that have any influence in what's happening now and how people view him and maybe even the players view him, number one? And then number two, we saw another low block and we saw shades of how Rulani would quote unquote panic towards the end of games, where you throw on a bunch of subs, your technical midfielders are playing as strikers, you're trying to cross the ball, but Shalulila off the pitch. Can that be fixed?
Okay, to answer your first question, Otse, that first demotion of Coach Mangoba, I'd like to mention something. In modern football, there's this thing whereby they hire a certain coach, right? They hire a certain coach and they use his ideas. to coach the team. So you look at us, we see him as an assistant, right? We see him as an assistant, but at the end of the day, he's the one running things in the training sessions. He's the one doing running the show, basically. So now you have a senior coach who takes the blame, who's there to sort of like take the blame to say, okay, if things fall bad, he'll be the one taking the blame.
Yeah.
Let's see what this young man has, the ideas, what does he have those ideas, you know.
Where's Fotoza, Gustavo? Gustavo Fotoza sitting right there. But anyway, second.
There's that thing also. You might never know. Maybe Fotoza also is the one next in line. But Coach Mangoba as the senior coach, he has to be the one taking all the fire to give Fotoza time, you know, to give Fotoza time to do his thing. You know, there's that thing of Coach Rulani. Why wasn't he promoted at first? To say, okay, Coach Rulani, be the head coach, you know. But let's give him a trial to say, okay, let's see your ideas. Let's see what ideas do you have. Let's see what type of football do you want to play. You show us the type of football, then we say, okay, now you are ready. You know, now we are ready. Coach Mangoba, we are demoting you. Coach Rulani, we are promoting you. You know, now it's all in your hands. If this doesn't work out, you are taking full blame now. You know?
And then on the low blocks and late game subs and play.
The low block, how Coach Rulani dealt with the low block was, you could see he's still a young coach and he's still learning. You know, he's still learning in terms of low block. If you look at the season in Sundowns from the start, maybe until midway until January, before the start of AFCON actually, teams are not playing a low block. Teams would go and try to go pound for pound against Sundowns. They will play their football, the things that they do in training. You know, they will try going pound for pound. That's why Sundowns was so dominant. They would score a lot of chances. They would create a lot of chances. Then throughout halfway of the season, that's when the other teams were like, okay, from the teams locally to the teams in CAF, they were like, okay, we're gonna do a low block and we'll look for those counter-attacking chances. You know, and when that happened, it was hard for Coach Rulani to adjust. You know, it was hard for Coach Rulani to adjust, to say, okay, this is the type of way we'll play now. Look at the games that we played in CAF, the decisions that were made there. You look at those decisions and say, okay, I see what you're trying to do with the crosses inside the box, but there's no man for a cross inside the box. You know, and those ideas are good ideas, but there are no people for the crosses inside the box. You want to play the ball behind the line, but you don't have those type of wingers to play behind the line because you don't believe in that type of football. You don't believe in width. You need width in order for you to play against a low block. You need that width to get in behind the defense. You know, and Coach Rulani couldn't adjust to that because of what he believed in.
Okay. Let me go to Agent. Agent, 2 questions. Does the idea of Coach Mangoba change because of that emotion? Does it follow him? Number 1. And then number 2, we saw a low block, we saw frustration, we saw what you might deem as late game panic, maybe a little bit. How do you feel about that?
Yes, actually I wanted to say something that you reminded me that I forgot to mention. Of all the games, like I said, 52 plus that we played last season, the following games are when we scored 3 goals or more.
Please don't say it, Mar.
4-0, Stelis 3-1, Nodibu 3-0, Platinum 6-1, Aros 3-1, and others 5-1. So 2, 4, 6, 7 games where you scored only 3 goals or more.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. We have this narrative that Sundowns was bringing teams away. We are not. We are not actually. You know? So, but to the first question, I think is not the demotion part of it. I think what is tricky for Mangoba right now is 2 things. First is the unbeaten streak that we went on. Especially in the league. We forget that we lost cup games, you know, granted, but in the league we went to 9 games. But again, you counter that and say, but how many teams does that? Like I said, this season, even with Rulani coming in, we're not going to go 10 9 games unbeaten again. You know? That's what you call a freak season. It was a freak season. So I think that has him has him offside, and the fact that we went to so many finals, that has him offside. And the only way to redeem that is to win a cup. And I think MTN 8 is a good one. Win MTN 8 and already have that leverage. Say, guys, he didn't win anything. I won it. He was here for 2 years. He didn't win it. I win it. And then I'm going to win the league again. So then you buy yourself time. The second thing that is countering him is, again, maybe for lack of a better word. I'm not saying he was, I'm just saying for a lack of a better word. Rulani was kind of a divisive figure within the Sundowns ranks, 29 games up to Kuzo. And I know Chief parents and Chiefs fans English sometimes, but anyways. With Rulani was just a bit of a divisive figure in the sense that some loved him, some hated him, and there was Betway fans, there was plastic fans, there were real fans, so there was that, and there's that toxicity still remains to this day, so I think that is working against him. I don't think that demotion part of it is a real factor. I think it's just that division that we have within, like I said, within the fan base, that those who are pro-Rulani are now anti-Mangoba, those who are anti-Rulani are now pro-Mangoba. So it's just that thing that is, a bit tricky for Mangoba, yeah.
And then low block, is it going to be a problem now? Late game, wild substitutions, is it going to be a problem? How do you feel about those?
We called it throwing in the kitchen sink,
Yeah.
And I've never, for me, it's never a bad thing, in the sense that we always cry that, hey, PSL teams looks like 75th minute, you make a sub. What is that sub doing? We don't know. What are you doing? Like, you're losing the game. Why are you staying back? So for me, going in the kitchen, even under Rulani, I loved it because you're saying, guys, we want this win, we want it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, but there was that intent to go all out. For me, that's an appropriate thing. The only thing that is kind of worrying with the throwing in the kitchen sink is, I think we saw some part of it under Rulani towards its end. Not the entire time you're throwing kitchen sinks the right way, but towards the end you look like and that's what you saw last game, that with the Mangoba, we are bringing players and like, okay, we are taking out more Dao for Mokwena. Why again? There were question marks all over. Like, okay,
you're crossing the ball to Tembazwane. You're crossing the ball to Tembazwane. You took off Shasha.
You have now put Zwane and you have taken Shasha out. So now you start trying to cross the ball. So you see, these are the kind of issues that, like, we panic a bit. And I think is anxiety that we have as Sundowns, that, our fans panic a lot. But like I said, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's only when you do the wrong subs. But reaction sync is not a problem. What with the low block, I think we're going to be slightly better. It's super difficult to break a low block. Even City struggles against that, but I think we're going to be slightly better. Not that much better, but slightly better, because with the Chameleon, because we are slow, we allow even if we have made a break, we're still going to circulate the ball. So the defenders are able to move side to side with you, just relaxed, But with the most quickness, we can destroy that organization for a second and make a chance, And last game, we saw those looping balls that Rulani tried unsuccessfully. We saw them, they were a bit more successful, and that's because you don't give the defense enough time to restructure that defense and get back into shape after you've destroyed them with passes. And also, Coach Kano uses the forced penetration. I'm not sure about the terminology, but it's football terminology. But because we have more of those forced whatevers, we have more of those induced lateral passes and induced vertical passes. We're going to create more of a chance. We're going to have a better chance of breaking the low block, in my opinion, under Mangoba, but slightly so, unfortunately.
Okay. Let me go to Mko. I started with you. The question about, I started with you now about how Mangoba's demotion plays into this.
I don't think so.
Okay, then I'll ask you
answered that one.
I'll ask you the two questions. How much does the demotion of Mangoba at that time Does that change the view of him, maybe from the fans, from players, from the club? Does it make him seem a bit different? And then number two, low block. We saw low block come out. Sundowns struggled, and then late in the game they started, making funny subs and then crossing the ball into the box, even though Shasha's out, and there was a lot of things that were happening there at the end of the game. How do you feel about that?
Okay, let me quickly start here. Just quickly. I'm not saying Mancoba is not going to succeed at Sundowns.
Yeah.
I think people are having an issue because they believe that's what I'm saying. No,
yeah.
I'm saying I'm scared for him. That's all I'm saying. There was a time where we spoke about the pressure of coaches in this new season, and I singled him out. I said that's the guy that I fear for. You get what I'm trying to say? And it's simply because there was a guy before him who seemed to have done incredibly well. Maybe most people would not agree to that, but winning seasons consecutively, that is not easy, OT. That is not easy. So all I'm saying is, okay, so the demotion part, let me just go quickly to the demotion part. It plays a role. In what way? Because now it says someone was preferred before than you. There's a particular coach that left who was preferred first before you. And I'm gonna keep emphasizing this fact that Rulani did not fail at Sundowns. He just had issues with the management for whatever reasons, and then he was released. So he was successful at Sundowns. So now you come in as this coach that has been robbed in to come in this new season. But are we saying, is this the coach that Sundowns is saying is going to take over from Rulani going forward? Or it's just an interim arrangement between the management and Mancoba Nciti? Those are questions that we need to ask ourselves, because I know, I would understand if management just said, you know what, we cannot put Mancoba as an interim coach because he's been there for a very long time. That would be disrespectful for him. To him. Let's just offer him a position as a head coach, but still, Mancoba is his own person. This is the point that I'm trying to make. That Mancoba is his own person. He's going to come with his style of play. He's going to implement new things in Mamelodi Sundowns. And the pressure now is that he needs to be successful in implementing those things. That's the big difference. Because if you are not successful, then the fans will come back and say, you see now, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Maybe Rulani was better than him. You get what I'm trying to say? That's why I'm saying I'm scared for him, but hopefully he's going to succeed. Hopefully he's going to, bring in new strategies and make sure that, he makes Sundowns tick again.
And then low block.
I don't have a problem with that, because you see now that's a first game of the season. And you don't want to lose that game. Remember that your reputation is at stake here as a head coach. So if you feel like you are losing the game, your goalkeeper has been red carded, and then now it seems like things are getting too hot, then you might want to try different strategies to defend and make sure that you don't lose the game. Maybe rather push it to extra time or penalties for that matter. So I don't have an issue with it. I just hope that this is not his style of play, because most of Sundowns fans are going to complain if this is what he's going to implement going forward.
I meant it more in the sense that part of Rulani's undoing, or part of Rulani's shine going away last season, was late in the games, late in the seasons, the PSL team started realizing that, we can just put a low block out, and if we hold out long enough, he's also going to start to panic when the pressure is on. We could say we saw something similar later in the game for Mamelodi Sundowns.
Last season.
Even this game that he played versus Polokwane, they started off very strong that first 45 minutes, but then later on in the game, they became a little bit more frustrated. You started seeing them crossing balls to Tshwane and doing all that stuff. How do you change that? Can it be changed? Is it just now part of the thing? Is that how you beat Sundowns? And will people be as patient with Mancoba in that regard as they were with Rulani when he started drawing towards the end of the season? I know it's early, but...
Yeah, but that's the issue that I'm saying, Uguti. It's for me, it's not an issue unless you are, doing it in a way that wins you games. But you see, Rulani to me seemed like a very strategic guy, because you would, implement multiple things in one game when he feels like things are not going his way. And you would even hear him when he speaks in his post-match analysis, when even if he's drawn or lost a game, you would hear him saying he had to implement different strategies to try at least save the game or try and win the game. So what I'm trying to say is that once you have confidence in a coach, if the coach starts winning games, as fans, you will never even complain about anything because you feel like he can do whatever he needs to do to try and save us a game or win a game. You get what I'm trying to say? So if as a coach you can come up with strategies to try and penetrate a team that plays that way and win the game, then you gain confidence from us as fans.
Okay. Let me go to Prasipo. Prasipo, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, OT, and evening to the guys.
Kidding, okay, now man.
Hey, OT, network today, I get it, and OT, I've been fortunate enough to listen most of the time to the views of our guests there, and I'm still saying it's early to judge the coach.
It
That's
is true.
too early to judge the coach. But what I know with football, you create a philosophy. Sir Alex Ferguson created a philosophy. Pep created a philosophy that helped Spain to win the World Cup with Iniesta and Tiki-Taka and stuff. Johan Cruyff created that football. So a team plays with, and one thing I can tell you is that Rulani and Mangoba were not seeing eye to eye. I listened to Mangoba's interview on 947. He's having a different way of philosophy. He was talking how dangerous Lucas Ribeiro is and all these things. So I think it's gonna take a while, but I don't think Sundowns is going to dominate like before. So Sundowns fans better start to know. Even if Roland was coaching, remember in football you go up and at some point you must go down. People are going to start claiming against you. Yeah.
Prasayo, are we being unfair to Mangoba? I mean, when you look at the records, Rulani won a league, he won a league. I believe he won the MTN 8 last time, Mangoba. So when you put them next to each other, Rulani's got the AFL. Are we just being unfair with this comparison? Is Rulani that much better than Mangoba?
No, I think after the COVID year where Chiefs lost the league at the last game, because of COVID, obviously, when Pitso won, the philosophy of Pitso was there for almost 8 years. They moved through that philosophy of Pitso for the first year as co-coaches. And I think Mangoba and Rulani, they are both capable coaches. But comparing Mangoba to Rulani, for me, it's disrespect. Rulani just came just few years to come to coach. He failed at Pirates and Chiba United, the very same Rulani. Mangoba coached Golden Arrows and won MTN 8 with Golden Arrows. So for me personally, I'm not gonna speak for other people. For me personally, Mangoba is a good coach. He's better than Rulani. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. Go on, proceed.
I'm really worried. On a lighter note, OT, that Sundowns must not meet Pirates because Mangoba might be offloaded again, and Khoza might take the charge of the team.
Hey,
I'm very much afraid, but
okay.
Because one thing on a serious note, I think Sundowns supporters must just be patient. But the issue of dominance, 2024, 2025, is not gonna be like before. It's not gonna be like before. That one, I'm just saying it. Not gonna be like before.
Let me bring in Gustavo. Prasa, you wanted to say something there? Last day?
Yes, I wanted to say this coming PSL season is going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Oh, thank you,
Not gonna be a one-man show.
Thank you, Petway.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a one-man show. Not gonna be a one-man show.
Yeah.
We Sundowns have dominated the football mainly because Pirates and Chiefs are not performing, whether you like it or not.
So it has made it a one-man show, especially in the league.
Okay.
And maybe this season, I'm telling you, this season, you can joke about Nabi and the guys and what, but just give everything time.
Okay.
Let's give it first round. Okay, I'll stop there.
Let me go to Gustavo. Gustavo, I want to ask you about Polokwane. Do you think that Polokwane played well in that game? And do you think when that red card happened, Musa Lebusa's in goal, how do you feel about how they responded?
Okay, Oti, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Oh, yes. Oh, before I touch on the Polokwane thing, we've been hearing this song before. During Coach Pitso's time, Coach Pitso left, they said Sundowns will fall. We've been hearing this song. When Coach Rulani was promoted, they said Sundowns will fall. So we've been hearing this song. We've been hearing this song, We've been hearing this song. So, in terms of Polokwane, how they went on about the game, struggling with the network here a bit. But yeah, in terms of how Polokwane went on with the game, and they went on really well. But they didn't capitalize, and it was down to player decision mostly. Because if you look at the chances that Apollos got, there's that first chance where he got and Onyango came out of the box. There was no need to sky that ball. Easily pass through Onyango, you have an open net, whereby you can just run with the ball through to the net or pass it to the net. They played with the chance. There's not also that one-on-one chance that he got there. He didn't look up to see what's going on in front of him. He scuffed the shot. He could have scored from the chance. So how they went on about that game, they did really well. They played really well. But when Sundowns was 10 men down, they were there for the taking, especially with Musa Lebusa's goal. Hit those long shots. You are professional players. You should be able to hit the target. At least hit the target. Hit those long shots. That guy is a defender, not a goalkeeper. He's not. His reactions are not as natural as of a goalkeeper. As much as the height favored him, but him going down or him diving, it's not in him. Capitalize on that. You need to capitalize on that. As professional players, you need to say, okay, as much as it's Sundowns, there was a time whereby they turned it up. They did turn it up. They did turn it up and say, okay, now we're taking the game to Sundowns, especially in that extra time.
No, I just wanted to ask, but then do our small teams suffer from just the fear factor? Because, Polokwane had a lot of chances to get through.
It's a fear factor thing. It's a fear factor thing. And what happens with our teams, if you look at them, they play Sundowns. As good as Pirate is, they also control possession. They are good, they attack, but you never see them playing a low block against Pirates. They don't have that fear towards Pirates to say, okay, if you take it pound to pound to Pirates won't give us that big of a problem, as good as Pirates is. You see them playing against each other. So this is how teams play, right? As a team, you play to compete, you play to win. You don't play to lose or play to draw. You play to win. It's a competition. This is how team plays. In training, what we do is we are training, we are practicing, doing drills to make us win. We're not playing to do. But when it comes to Sundowns, that's when they like, okay, whatever we did in training in terms of attacking football and whatever we're gonna do, we're no longer doing it. And everyone now is on that trend. But I understand you cannot go pound to pound with Sundowns. You look at African giants, your White Hats, your Ahly's, your Tunis, they're not going pound to pound with Sundowns because they know if you go pound to pound with Sundowns, it's so your highest chance at winning against Sundowns is not taking the game to them. Play that low block. That's the highest chance of winning or getting a draw from Sundowns. That's your highest. Play that low block, but have proper structures planned out to say, okay, this is how we're gonna attack them. And I saw the coach also received the phone call. I'm not sure if you asked about the phone call that the coach was receiving there.
Yeah.
There's that issue. Maybe we'll touch on it on some other day. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a different conversation from this one.
You can touch on it. You can touch on it. You can touch on it now.
This is a conversation that needs to be had. We see this a lot, especially with the Limpopo teams. We see this a lot with the Limpopo teams whereby coaches are receiving phone calls or instructions from above. We see it also with cheaper. you know. So I'm not sure how long the coach will last there. And if you are not one to listen to, I think that's the same reason also Peter Haibara left Sekhukhune. You know, didn't want to be controlled. He wants to do his own thing. Give the coach the freedom to do his own thing. You know, give the coach the freedom
Mara
to do his
Hibala
own
was
thing.
doing his own thing allegedly somewhere, but
Really?
anyway.
Yeah, we'll hear what happens. You know, this is an international coach, so hey, we don't know what's happening in the background.
But
we don't
can
know
I
what's happening.
can I ask you something on the situation with the phone call? I saw a picture of Romain Foltz sitting with a walkie-talkie in the stands. Does it change if it's not a phone? If it was the walkie-talkie or if it was his assistant on the phone, do we look at it as that same situation?
No, yes, we can look at it as the same situation. So we don't know who's calling at the end of the day. You know, we can just like read the body language to see, okay, who's calling. I don't think phones are allowed in the benches. I'm not sure, right? I don't think phones are allowed, but that's why Folds was using a walkie-talkie. It's much easier to use that walkie-talkie. You know, it's much easier. We've seen it with Rulani also at some point. There was remember when there was time where he was trending. He had a walkie-talkie also assisting to coach. You know, you assist to coach. If you cannot make it to the bench as an assistant coach, I'm not sure who mentioned here that Coach Mangoba and Coach Rulani didn't see eye to eye. I think one of the guys. I'm not sure if it was agent or what. But yeah, they mentioned as an assistant coach or also as a head coach, you must be able to listen to assistant coach to say, okay, because they have a different view to what you are saying, right? Many eyes are better than two sets of eyes. You know, it works better. Listen to your thing. Assistant coach Falls was there, and that phone call, we don't know where it's coming from. Clearly, it's not from anywhere close. Maybe it's from home. You never know.
Yeah, maybe his wife was saying, "How man, was you baby?" Let me go to Agent. Agent, I don't know if you caught it, but we had a little bit of Coco Melon there as an in-joke from the group. There was Coco Melon that played on precise thing. Agent, I want to ask you the same questions. How do you feel about the response of Polokwane City? How do you feel about how they played that game? Could they have done anything better? Or is it maybe the best that we could get to? And maybe I'll also throw you the phone question. What do you think about the phones?
Firstly, allegedly, Gustavo, allegedly, don't quote me, allegedly. I'm saying allegedly. Hibala was buying meat at butcher. That's why he was fine. So please. But anyways, I wanted to say for the phone thing, let me start with the phone thing. I think it's one of those where, what does I have to call them, technicalities that you overlook at times, you know. With the tablet, Sundowns uses the tablet. You're not allowed to use a phone, the tablet, whatever. Sundowns uses it, you know, with a phone. Yes, people saw for closer with the walkie-talkie. But I personally, I've seen it with my eyes. Sundowns has like 3 video analysts near the supersport box at Loftus. They're always there. I always see beside them. They're always on the call talking. They discuss something, discuss, and then you see one of them picking up a call and calling the bench. Most of the time is Wendell picking up the phone, and then that's why Wendell, look at Wendell.
Has the earpiece.
Yes, it's always has an earpiece, and he's always sitting next to the coach. It's just Coach Rulani or Coach Mangoba. It's always sitting next to the coach because he's the mouthpiece. So for me, walkie-talkie phone, same thing. But I feel like it would have been a bit better to, if it was an assistant who has received the call so that he can relay the messages through the head coach. And again, I've talked about the coach that he looks, he wears, so I think that doesn't help. It looks like he's lost, but he's a very good coach. He looks lost in everything, and the phone call, at least if it was an Apple, we see something different, at least maybe, but because the phone was not giving. But about 2000, it looks like wow, Goisha. So it becomes problematic on its own. You get. So I feel like it was just that hell. For me, I've seen it happening time and time again. You know, I would do things like red cards. So I think sometimes Timor of it should have gotten a red card by this season. But yeah, but on the Polokwane City side, actually, Polokwane City has a market value of 4.33 million euros, and a certain team has a market value of 18 million euros. I don't mention names. In rands, how much is that? The other one has a value of 358 million rands. The other one has a value of 86 million rands. Do what you may, and they finished 3 points above them. And they showed that they didn't finish by fluke. They deserve to be there. You know, they give teams a tough time. They're a very good side, they're a very well coached side. As whatever looking the coach is, he's a very good coach. And I like him, you know. Obviously, I was disappointed with the response after getting the red card. I feel like they should have done more. But again, is it a coach's problem to tell you guys, our guys, shoot on target? Or players themselves should say, shoot on target. This guy's not a keeper, you know. That's why sometimes we question the quality of our players. That, okay, fine, the coach, yeah, we see, but you must think also when you are on the pitch, you know. It's not like your brain is being taken out. So I was more disappointed with the players than the coach, you know. And again, you may look at it in two different ways. One way you can look at it and say, a team is one man down, let's go all attacking out, you know, and probably will score. This is the best chance to beat Sundowns. But you've held them this far, you've held them for 85 minutes without your playing. Can you afford to take the style in play? Remember, the whole week you're playing on what? On defense. Can you all of a sudden tweak in game and go attacking? And again, with the quality of Sundowns, don't you think that's going to expose you? So I'm sure the plan was, let's take them to penalties. I'm sure they trained a lot of penalties, you know. So it's one of those where like, it's a spin of the course what you do as a coach, you know. That's why I'm like, I'm not gonna blame the coach for trying to take the game to extra time and penalties, because I feel like they had a better chance in penalties than during the game. So he's like, maybe it's best to go the safer approach. There are 10 men, we're 11, there are 9, we're 10 in the pitch. So they're less likely to score if we held them while they were full for the first 80 minutes. So let's continue doing what we're doing. So yeah, I think take it what it was, a good or bad. I don't know what it was, but good or bad, whatever it is justified.
Do we have a situational football problem in South Africa? Because the example I always give is that run that Chiefs had the one time where we had, I think, 7 or 8 red cards in a row. And there was no discernible change. Like, we didn't see reaction, you know. Like, for example, for me, I don't know, because I'm not a professional player. I wasn't on the pitch. I'm not a professional coach. I don't know. But for me, the moment you see, man, I'll start doing the maths in my head. It's a defender in goal. I've got 10 minutes left. They're going to come back. I don't think I can go another 30 minutes with Mamelodi Sundowns with a proper keeper. Maybe for the next 10 minutes, man, just shoot. I saw them try combining. I don't know if they were just happy that Sundowns is down to 10 men. But do we have a situational football problem in our country and in the PSL?
I think so. I think we are limited in thinking, you know. One thing that I love about Sundowns is it looks like they're always prepared for whatever situation, you know. They always somehow plan. You always see when you go one man down, it's like you're not surprised that we went one man down. It looks like this team actually practice one man down.
Yeah.
When you go one man up, it looks like, okay, this team looks like they practice how they want to attack when they're one man up, you know? So I don't know how much of the other teams practice those situations, you know, because I don't think Polokwane is really prepared for that kind of situation. Guys, what happens if you go one man down? What happens when you go a one man down, or they go one man down? What do we do? I don't think they know how to do that, you know. And again, it's one of those, like I say, even Chiefs fail to do it, where you're like, during the entire season, at some point, at least even if it's just one game, at one point you're gonna have one man down, at one point you're gonna have one man up. So Cocomelon, but you should do those drills. You should have those kind of drills, you know. And again, free kicks. I don't know how many teams do free kicks in PSL, like free kick training. That free kick was disappointing. Like how, man? Like, you know, even if it was a keeper, man, you try and put it on target, you know. And how many goals in PSL do we have from free kicks?
Yeah.
You know, so I don't think we have much of those things, you know. And again, there's a point that I forgot to say. I think Sundowns wins games. And yes, we have quality, but I think we win games by what we call aura or fear factor than anything else. Just that the fear of Sundowns, makes you lose the game even before it starts. Not because of quality, not because of anything. You know, so yeah, I think it's something that you have to, before you can beat Sundowns, tell the guys, you're gonna take this team. You're going to lose, but you're gonna lose having to take this team. Let's take the fear factor out of it. There's a reason why we struggle against Cape Town City. You know, because they don't fear us. So yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go to Gustavo, and then I'll go to Prasipo. Gustavo, I've got the same question for you. Do we struggle with situational football? Because outside of the red card and all of that stuff, you look at the game. They've got Apolis on the pitch. You know Lebusa slow. You know Gutsia slow. You've caught them 2-3 times, but then you don't continue to do those things. Do we have a problem with those type of with the thinking of the game, I guess, in the moment in South Africa?
Yeah, Adrian put it exactly as it is. We lack that creative mindset. We lack that let me take the game by the scruff. You know, that thing you see with Patrice Motsepe, when everything is not going all right, he's that guy to say, okay, give me the ball. You know, give me the ball. I'll make the decisions. Or I will help you make the decisions. You know, whatever I'm doing, replicate that. Just receive my energy. You know, Themba Zwane has that type of thing. You saw it also after we scoring, after we got that goal, when they started playing those touches. You know, when they say Mshishi is starting to dance, we see it at Bafana also. He's starting to dance now. Whereby it's like, he gives you the ball, he just makes that short run, you give him the ball back, gives it to the next person. You know, there are those types of players. You need those types of players in the team to say, okay, we're going to do this now. You know, your captains, basically. We're going to do this now. We're going to take the game by the scruff. Let's be creative. If not everyone is creative, let me be the one who's creative. You know, Polokwane lack that. And most of these teams, or the lower division, the lower sides, let me just say that, they lack that thing of, okay, certain things are not done in training, you know.
Yeah.
Some of our coaches, as much as they are coaches, they are qualified to do, they can coach, they know the job, they know what they're doing, but they are not really obsessed with football like that.
Okay.
You know, that was a difference from the PSL coaches, or actually coaches all over Africa. That's are coaching in the leagues and playing CAF. And the difference between them and Coach Rulani. That's what we saw from Coach Rulani was just spectacular. You know, because he has that hunger for football. He loves football that much. You know, he has that obsession for football. You know, he's always thinking of new creative ideas. You look at that free kick. We're talking about the Polokwane City free kick now. We look at that and we say, are these professional players or what? Look at that, you say, are these professional players? Then you had the Sundowns last season. There was that creative free kick thing that they were doing, that technique of Ribeiro and Neo Mayem, whereby Mayem will scoop that thing over the pitch. You know, Pirates, we saw it. There was a free kick whereby Shenko was, I think it was Shenko. He runs down the line. He receives the ball, plays the cross in. They do those drills. The big teams do those drills. As a professional team, you should be doing that. You should know at a certain point, whereby if a free kick is there, instead I'm going direct, we have someone who can go direct, or we can choreograph a set piece.
Yeah.
You know.
But can I ask, is it maybe also our fault that we expect so little? I mean, Rulani was incredible. He studies the game and all of that stuff. But are we, I don't know how to put it, are we making it seem as though Rulani is doing this most spectacular thing when here we sit with a team that's got a red card, you see the situation of the game. Does it really take you being obsessed with the game in order to realize the opportunity? You know, I think what Rulani used to do very well at the beginning of the season last year was, it pays league. Guys, we're losing the game. It's 0-0. It's one down or one goal down. Let's go wide, cross balls. I put in Mendieta. I keep Shasha in. I know that something will break with those guys. Mendieta scored 2 or 3 goals from the bench in those situations. Should we expect more from our coaches? It's part of the problem that, I mean, Polokwane is the 8th best team in the league right now. Surely, knowing how to attack at some point isn't rocket science.
Yes, we need that. We need that obsession from our coaches, man. Because no disrespect to the coaches, as much as we love the coaches, we'd like them to improve. We'd like to see more of them coming in. You know, we enjoy watching their football. Sometimes you see their ideas. You know, you see their ideas, but no disrespect to them. But some of them, it seems like okay, when they go home, they go and just like bond with family. It's not wrong, you know. It's not wrong, but at some point you need to be doing your research and look at what's working. You know, look at the dominating teams. Look at how they dominate. You look at the dominating teams, how they dominate, and look at their counterparts also, how they're able to play against those dominant teams. You know, in terms of let me just make of the league in England, you had a Liverpool, whereby they were doing something totally different from Man City, but they'll also dominate with their style of play, and they'll be able to play against the best. You know, you need that as a coach to say, okay, if I have these types of players who play counter-attacking football, how can I improve my counter-attacking football and come up with new things that no one else is doing? Because that's what Rulani did, basically. You know, he did that. He was like, okay, I'm going to play positional football, and it's going to be the most dominant football in Africa, basically. You know, there was that. We had that. Also, I'd like to mention quickly, in terms of the subs. So in a game, you cannot make 4 substitutes in the same additional time slots.
Yeah, there's 3. You can make 5. You can make 5 subs, but you only have 3. You only have in the 90. You can only make 5 subs in 3 phases. So it would have to be like a 1-2-2 or a 3-1-1. But if you make a 1-1-1, you've got 2 subs left over, but you can't make them because you're outside of the 3 phases. And then in extra time, you get an extra sub, but then I think you get two extra phases of subs.
Yes, so that's what the difference was between Mamelodi Sundowns and Polokwane City. That's why Polokwane City made 5 subs and Sundowns was able to make 6, I think. That's why they didn't make that substitute during the 90 minutes. They left Lebusa in as a keeper. To answer the question of those who still are wondering why they didn't bring in Jody February as early as possible. It was in order to take the game to extra time, if it's going to extra time, and we can have those additional 2 subs. You know,
and they couldn't make the sub. They couldn't. They weren't allowed to make the sub as well. But yeah, I also learned that yesterday. To be honest with you, the brothers here in the show showed me that for time's sake, let me just go to Prasipo. Prasipo, do we have a problem with coaching in South Africa? Because I understand the more advanced stuff, inverting left backs, all of that, Catanacho and things like that. Mara, surely you should have a plan. On a red card, I make changes like this. If my team gets a red card, I do 1, 2, and 3. If you want to defend the Copa League, like, how come we struggle with those things, Prasa?
OT, sorry for Cocomelon, my guys.
Man. No, it's a joke.
To watch it today. Today I'm being forced to watch Cocomelon. I've just ran away from
Oscar. Even us.
Yes. I think the challenge is coaching. Hey, coaching is very difficult, OT. It's easier to speak. And you are right when I think sometimes our coaches give Sundowns too much respect. If a team is 1-0 down, 1 man down, it means you are 1 man extra. Automatically it means you don't have to be defending if you are defending. Now you can attack so that you force them to play a defensive match.
Yeah.
A team can be 1 man short with a defender as a goalkeeper, and then you cannot score. I always say to Sundowns, my Sundowns colleague at work, that Sundowns' weakness is defense. They are very slow, even their left back. If they play Mudiba there, you're having a strong team, you can beat them. You're having a strong winger. So unfortunately, the coach of Polokwane City, I don't know what he was respecting, because if it's a player in the goalkeeper, just put the balls in. Let's see how he stops the balls. But you can't even put 5 or 6 crosses, and the team it's one man down.
Yeah.
It's disappointing.
Yeah.
You can't be giving teams that much of a respect. At least if you were trying to attack on a transition, on counter-attacks, now go for it, because you have one man extra, and they are one man short. So they are forced to take some of their forward players back to the middle field. So I don't know, maybe we don't know how to coach, but you should be attacking. I mean, if we are playing against your team, you lose a player, it's a red card, we must make you change your plan so that you come to our mess as an attacking team with 11 players. But for Sundowns to play with Libusa in the post for that 10 minutes and not more than 3 shots were shot at him, it's disappointing from Polokwane City. I think it's more of respecting Sundowns or saying, let's push the match to penalties. That's where we have a better chance of winning. Maybe they thought they will push the match to the penalty. Because normally if you are playing a tougher team, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester City, if you are in the extra time, you try to push to the penalties, because that's where it's a little bit more equal, maybe. Maybe that's what the coach was thinking. But for me, I think the coach gave the Sundowns team respect by not going for all out. If OT a team gets a red card, you put more attackers, because you've got an extra man. You put more attackers so that you make them worry about defending.
No, but also, like I look at it and I go, do you really want to go 30 more minutes with Sundowns? You know what I mean? Like, if you've got a chance right now, literally, anyway, they did whatever they did. Literally, at the end of the day, how many teams versus Sundowns come out and they defend? And then they defend. Sundowns scores their 1 goal. Now you see the most brilliant football from these teams, but it's like, Mara, you guys are losing. And now Sundowns can park the bus and see the game out. While Tswala the same way that you were playing in the beginning, Oksala 3 points it's a mile, you know. But
exactly. Just go. You know, sometimes I'm talking about giving teams too much respect. They are giving Sundowns too much respect. Sometimes just go pound for pound, because at the end of the day, you try to defend. You, as you say, you lose 1-0. And then it's 78 minutes. Now you are playing the last 12 minutes of the match. You are outlasting Sundowns. Why not go for pound for pound and then attack Sundowns? Like, who's that coach? Coach pound for pound. Who was coaching at Chiba United. Yes, just go for it. But then I'm very disappointed with Polokwane City that 10 minutes on, you want to go for 30 minutes with Sundowns. Who can bring another quality goalkeeper and bring another quality attacker and have a new plan.
Okay.
That's the thing.
I'm gonna go to Agent to close it out, but I just wanted to say, Prasipo, the Coco Melon thing is an inside joke from our WhatsApp group. So there's people who call the chameleon football Coco Melon. So that's why it was an inside joke. Agent, Agent, our expectations low. Just to close it off, our expectations too low for these teams and our coaches. I mean, some of the things we're speaking about, we're acting as though, man, it's pro license stuff. But it's like, oh, you guys don't have a plan for when you go 10 men down, or you go 10 men, like.
What are you doing? Because your game is once. Most these guys play once a week. What are you doing for those 5 days? Like the training. What you can't be saying, man. If you're training, let's say 4 days in a week, for those 4 days you're just running, because even combining passes, you can't combine 5 passes. Even trapping the ball, you can't trap the ball. Like So I think it's one of those things where you're like, I think it was Lindo who said something along the lines of most of these teams get away with a lot because you're focusing too much on the so-called big teams, and they do get away with a lot of things, It is actually embarrassing that we have accepted that a team can go one man down and still lose the game or draw the game. We have accepted that as if it's normal, It's not normal. We're supposed to be showing more,
Yeah.
And I think again also goes back to the quality of the players that we have in the PSL and say, are we moving towards a robotic footballers who can think? And goes back to the old conversation, old football, modern football, where you just have to be told, do this, do that, do this. And then as a player, you don't have to need to think for yourself, So I think it goes back to that kind of conversation again. So I think these players are getting away with a lot. But anyways, it was a long show. I don't know how you do this every week.
Hi, man. Welcome.
Never. Thanks, man.
Thank you, agent. Okay, guys, this is all I'm going to say because Lindo Pep is starting his show right now. I believe he's live right now. He comes on at 9. So I don't want to get too much into his time as well. Guys, for me, it's very simple. I understand that Sundowns is incredible. I understand that they have quality. I understand that Pirates is really good. I understand that there's other teams. But Polokwane City is the eighth best team in the league. They are the top 8 league, the top 8 team, right? So you can't tell me that at that level, you don't have a plan for when you have a red card. You don't have a plan for when you see this. You don't realize mid-game. You can't change things mid-game. Hey guys, let's stay in our low block, but let's hit them. Let's hit them on the counter. Police, I don't want to see you back with us. The moment we win the ball, we're going to play it up so that you can chase it and go give that slow defense trouble. So that's what I'm saying, Ore. For me, that's where my issue lies with a lot of the PSL teams. I think a lot of them do get away with murder, right? Because guys, some of these things, it's not rocket science to go, I've now realized that the defenders are slow. I have Apolis and Chauke. The rest of us can sit back and be in 9. 9 men behind the ball, 10 men with the goalkeeper, 2 guys up. What Stellenbosch does with Reiners and Van Beek, right? So you can't tell me that you haven't thought of those things. And yes, I'm not a coach, I'm not a player. But at that level, you'd expect a little bit of, common sense or footballing sense, right? There's a defender in the goals. I've got 10 minutes left. Mamelodi Sundowns is 1 man down. We know that when they come back for extra time, there's going to be an extra sub for them to get a goalkeeper on, and they're probably going to bring on a defender themselves or another attacker, and you don't want to go another 30 minutes with Sundowns. Or even if you do want to go another 30 minutes with Sundowns, it's not every day where you get a chance. And I'm saying, you got a free kick, you try put it into the top corner instead of trying to give it to the goalkeeper so he parries it. You've got a chance on the right wing to put in crosses. What do? They start combining. Hey, Polokwane City was doing this in the 10 minutes. Instead of just take a shot and see what happens. The difference between Mamelodi Sundowns, for example, and a lot of these teams, Mamelodi Sundowns and Rulani last year, if it gets to 82nd minute, 80th minute, or actually 75th minute, and it's still 0-0, they're going to put so much pressure on your box over and over and over again that you are probably going to make a mistake. It's not going to be Shalulile who scores. It's going to be somebody else. Literally what happened yesterday, why I say it's the same old script as usual. What happened yesterday, Sundowns started pressuring that box on goal. So now I'm looking at the other teams and I'm going, Mara guys, are you that scared? It almost feels like most of our teams go in with plan A, and if plan A wins or plan A loses, they're fine. Hi, no, Sizamile guys, it was Sundowns, Lucas Moripe. We were bound to lose this thing. Let's look forward to the next game. It was Pirates at Orlando Stadium. I don't necessarily want to fight them. We tried our best plan A where we were sitting back. It's fine. It's okay. They were meant to win that game. And what really, I almost said something else. What really gets to me is, Oksala, you lost. Oksala, with all the pragmatism that you came into that match with all of the low blocks and the defensive football and do the simple thing. You lost. Polokwane City is not in the semis. A lot of the teams that play with Mamelodi Sundowns there, they sit back and they don't have gameplay. You've lost all of those points. You are sitting 37 points behind Mamelodi Sundowns. So that's why I'm saying that guys, sometimes it's not quality, sometimes it's not any of that stuff. Sometimes you come with a plan. Do you know how many teams get frustrated by Brighton? Because they've got a plan. I always say here on this show, is the last thing I will say. I always say here on this show, be defensive. Come into the game and be defensive. But always have a plan to go hurt that other team. If it means you transition as quick as possible with 2 players and you target a side of the field. Do you know what that also does? It stops Sundowns. The example I always use is Coach Rulani. Coach Rulani said after the Kaizer Chiefs game where they came back to make it 1-1, I think it was MTN 8 as well. He said, I was worried that there was going to be someone who's going to attack Kulisomdao. The moment I saw that Chiefs were sitting back, I said he must push up because now I've got no threat. So always have a threat, even if it means that Apolis is running at Libusa 5 times, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. Libusa now has to think. Your coach has to think about cover. One less player can go up. Maybe your right or left back has to stay. Now I've taken away a bit of danger from them because they're thinking about me while I'm being defensive. But our PSL teams, most of them, sit back and get punched and get punched and get punched until something breaks. And that's literally how Mamelodi Sundowns was getting a lot of their points last season. A lot of their 3 points, a lot of their draws was literally punch, something will break. But anyway, guys, Lindo Pep is on right now. So head on over there. Thank you guys for joining me. Please follow if you have not followed. The show is on every Monday to Thursday at 7 p.m. I am here. If you missed anything, they are available on YouTube in full. All of our conversations that we've ever had. It's not just reviews. We also have big conversations about a lot of things. I also drop content almost every day. So please, if you could do me the favor of sharing, of liking, of doing all those things, it's great. Thank you so much to Fandenom. Always coming through for me. Thank you to Fandenom with the gifts. Thank you to everybody watching on YouTube and here on TikTok, to the commenters and to the people who are on the panels. I'll see you guys then tomorrow at 7 p.m. Bye, guys.